So she's a little crusty. Curious to see. So this is a small block Chevy TBI. Apparently built 30 over from what I hear. With a small cam because it's the computer and stuff. So, yeah, I think we're probably... Ooh, there's crusty. Let's see what we got going on here. Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm. Yep. Seems like the stuff is there. Mm-hmm. Yep. The linkages are disconnected. It's not stuck. So that's good. Probably will fire up and run. Neat. So the game plan with this guy is probably going to be to stuff it in. Oh, I need to get a different intake and carb. But the game plan would be to stuff this in the square body while I'm building my 350. Because, you know, it's a disease. Always be buying more. Our question, is it gonna crank? Probably not. Oh, oh, she's done. Take the key right out of her. It's over. We sent that small block 350 to heaven. Small block Chevy heaven just gained another member. It's been fun, darling. It's been fun. Well, how's your Wednesday morning going? She, think she said that she was done with life. Coming up the road and started hearing a pretty bad noise coming from the engine. Sounded like it was a rod knock. Knock, knock, who's there? No longer your engine, that's for damn sure. So, good thing got the other one on the way. Step one, go to Harbor to Freight and pick up engine stand. Put it in the back of the truck. All right, currently on our way home, probably can't see much. Engine's in the back. This is nuts. So here's our TBI 350, the engine stand that we literally bought from Harbor Freight today, a cherry picker that I'm borrowing, an exhaust that I got from work, spare tire that I grabbed because I thought I was gonna need it for this, tire that was given to me for that to sit on, Jack, and she's squatting, but we're gonna get going home here. Just wanted to make sure everything was good to go, and we look good to go to shoot down the highway and get home, so let's get her done. Well, here we are. We're home, back home in the shop here. Oh, sorry, I might offend some of you. My very small garage. Anyway, we have to get the engine out, so what we need to do is I need to pull all the pieces for the cherry picker out of the truck. I need to assemble the cherry picker. Then I need to move the engine back, and then, you know, actually get on the engine and pick it up off the bed of the truck, roll the whole cherry picker back, and then I need to assemble the engine stand so I can then put the engine on, the engine stand and get it off the cherry picker. So with that being said, we'll check back in when we're probably ready to pull this thing out. It has been a really long day. I mean, the day that I'm filming all of this for you, the K20 blew up. The 350 and the K20 actually blew up. So I was late to work and just hustling, and knew I needed an engine. And the guy that I bought the engine off of said, hey, it's ready to go. So got out of work, ran all the way to Harbor Freight to pick up an engine stand that I didn't have. Then ran all the way out to pick this engine up, and then had to hustle back to borrow the cherry picker off my old man, and then drive all the way back to my house, and just yikes! It's been a long day, but by the end of the night, I'd like to have that this engine on the cherry picker, and then onto the engine stand, so we can start doing some work and getting ready to paint this thing and make it look pretty before we stuff it into the truck. So let's get to work. well, kiddos, here she is. That worked out. Yeah, it worked out. So anyways, we got to take this now, and we're going to throw it on our engine stand back there. And then I guess we're going to look at it and admire how pretty it is. So some information on this engine. It's bored 30 over, and it has a small cam. Obviously, with these TBI engines, you can't go too big of a cam, especially with the computer on the newer trucks. But I can throw a bigger cam in it if I want to. We're not going to. I think this engine's going to run really good just the way it is. Already know that we need some accessories. I'm going to have to come up with a belt. I don't know how some of our pulleys are. I mean, power steering pump. I mean, alternator. This is supposed to be the bigger wattage alternator, which is pretty awesome. And it's a serpentine setup too, because it's the newer engine, so that's pretty awesome. We're gonna have to get another fan. These fans suck too, because they had, like, these edges were really sharp, and like obviously these are bent. So probably gonna have to find some other sort of fan for this. And basically I'm gonna have to find a fan that will work with our serpentine setup. So we're gonna be looking for one of those. We need to get the intake. Elderbrock makes a special one that we'll be looking into. Need an actual carb to go on top, and we're going to be snagging the distributor out of the K20 that's in the 350 that's in the K20. We're also going to be getting some headers for it, just because, you know, it's going to be cool. And there's going to be a bunch of other little miscellaneous stuff. But one of the big things that I wanted to do for you guys was actually give you, you know, the full run through of how this stuff works. Because what bothers me the most was I was looking it up, and there wasn't a lot of information and a lot of builds with these engines in the older trucks. There's a lot of guys that have these engines and they carb swap them in their newer trucks. And, you know, was figuring stuff out with the ECU and whatnot. But we're running this engine without an ECU, and we're going to try to use all the wiring that's already in my truck to basically run this engine. So we're going to have some stuff that we're going to have to figure out. There's some other plugs and wires and stuff that we're going to have to figure out too. And with that being said, basically, like I said, at the moment and in this video, what we're currently doing is we're basically going to probably strip a reasonable part of it down, and basically I'm going to clean the block up the best I can, and we're going to paint it and basically get it ready. And then in another video, we'll be doing the whole shindig with the intake, the carb, and all the other good stuff, and then eventually dropping it in the truck. But yeah, let's go throw it on the stand, and let's keep this show rolling. Well, there you go. We got it on the stand. That took way longer than it should have. As a matter of fact, it's 2 o'clock in the morning, and it's on there. So at this point, basically, we're gonna start getting rid of some of the stuff that we don't need, and then we're gonna start cleaning this thing up and trying to make it look better than what it is. So we're gonna be scraping a lot of grease and grime and a lot of that stuff, and yeah, so that's what you're going to be seeing next. But that's not what I'm going to be doing next. I'm going to be going to bed because I'm freaking exhausted. So yeah, we'll check back in a little bit. Alright, so we rolled it outside. I sprayed it down with the grease. You're going to let that sit and soak for a minute. While we're letting that sit and soak, pulling the alternator off, the AC compressor, and then that should be just about it. Oh, then the power steering pump, and then this whole bracket should come off, and we'll be able to get good access into cleaning all of this. But that's what's next. One last thing I figured I'd go over before we get into this is I'm just trying to cover up some of the stuff here on the manifold so no water gets in there. So tape over the over that. I don't think that's probably not going to work out too well for me, but we're going to go ahead and we're going to stick that plastic bag over that. Our coolant temp and our oil sensors are good, except the oil sensor that I'm thinking probably should throw something over that, and then at that point I think we're ready to go. So just, you want to bag and try to keep water out of the areas where there's water is not supposed to be. I even did the lower and, well, the neck up top, and then this one, I just put something over them. It doesn't matter because water gets in the coolant system, but figure just do it, try to make it somewhat right. Let's cover that up, and then we're actually gonna start pressure washing. Well, at this point, all of our stuff's off, so now we're gonna go ahead, spray it down with a little more degreaser. We can go grab the pressure washer and start washing this bad boy down. Alrighty, so we're done washing it. So at this point, I already started doing a little bit of it, but we're going to start wire wheeling some of the bare areas that we can see. One of the next things that we're going to be doing too is we're going to be dropping the exhaust manifolds off. I actually am ordering headers. I did that today actually. And so we're going to be dropping these off so I can actually get down the side of the block better. And basically we're just going to scrape off as much of the loose gunk that we can, and then pretty much wire wheel it to the best of our ability. Then at that point, basically, we're going to try to make sure that we have a prep surface to paint. And I probably won't be painting it today, but hopefully basically by tomorrow, basically be ready to start laying some paint on this. That'd be pretty cool. I did decide what color we're going with. As you can see on the engine here, whoever had this done up before me actually did paint it Chevy orange, so that's what we're going to be repainting it. We're going to repaint it Chevy orange. I'm going to repaint the valve covers gloss black, and then I'm going to do the starter gloss black. I think that'll be a nice little, I think it'll look pretty good. I think it'll look pretty good, and the black's going to kind of help offset the orange. But yeah, so with that being said, I guess at this point we're going to drop the exhaust manifolds off it, and then we're going to get to grinding away more of the junk, and let's get it done. So these should, I cracked them all loose. They're all, the other manifolds off. Yep. Yep. Yep, there it is. If I can just get that out of there. Beautiful. Look at that. Junk. Not really, but you know, yes. Alright, cool. So now we're going to have to do something to seal these up, so we're not sending any gunk in there. I also do need to clean up this surface, so when we mount the headers will actually mount. But then after that, I still see that we got some... it's just, wow, it's just cruddy. It's just so flaky. I have to get in there and see how much of that we can get off. We're going to be losing these brackets here too for the motor mounts, because it's just going to be a lot easier to do. And this thing's still leaking oil. What are you doing? I just cleaned the floor. But, so yeah, with that being said, we're going to lose these now. And yeah, then we're actually going to get back to scraping away some junk here. And honestly, like, the block is clean. It just needs to be wire wheeled, and then we're in really, really good shape. So I'm very happy about that. Very excited. Because this thing's going to look good. Freshly painted, it's going to look good. Well, kids, I played the hustle game and just kept wire wheeling until I killed like 3 or 4 batteries on my cordless die grinder. But I'm not very good at painting, and the reason why I'm not very good at painting is because I'm just impatient. And so I wire wheeled the whole engine down, and I literally just sprayed it down with some brake clean and wiped it off with a rag, and I think we're just going to go for it. I mean, I checked the humidity. The humidity's like 45% out, which is crazy because it just literally like rained not even a few hours ago. But sure, we'll just... And what's the worst case scenario? I wasted like an $8 can of spray paint. Whatever. I don't care. So let's go for it. I guess the big thing is do I need to really tape anything off? No, I think we just get to go for yeah. Yeah, I'm just gonna, yep, go for it. See what happens. So here's what we're using here. It's gonna be some good old Chevy orange here. This is VHT brand, high temp, up to 550 degrees Fahrenheit. And we're just gonna go for it. I'm not worried about the plugs getting overspray on them, simply because of the fact that new plugs are gonna be going in it. I'm not worried about getting the valve covers either, because I want to keep the valve covers on. We're gonna pull the valve covers off and spray that up gloss black. I was thinking whether I wanted to keep the water pump actually black or not. I think we're gonna go orange on that, maybe. Yeah, it seems like the right thing to do. And then I'm thinking all of our pulleys be black, and I think that'd look really good. But yeah, like I said, we're just painting the block. We need to get a new oil pan because this oil pan's got an oil leak. So when we get the new oil pan, I'll actually be able to get the chance to actually spray that up, and actually that'll actually probably be the nicest sprayed thing on the engine. But yeah, I just, yep, go for it. You got nothing to lose. Did I do enough prep work? Nope. We're just gonna go for it. Let's see what happens here. Oh, baby. Huh. Like I said, we're just gonna go with a semi light coating here, just so hopefully it adheres a little bit. I pulled the starter off. I think we're gonna paint the starter black too, just because I think it would look better. We're gonna have to get a new dipstick tube. It's rotted out in the one spot as well, I noticed. I probably should have covered that up. Oh well. Too late now. And we're just gonna kind of, I could just do one of these for now. Just hold my finger over it, just so I can get back behind there relatively easier. Well, so we're gonna let that probably flash for probably about, I don't know, probably give it a good 10-15 minutes or so maybe, and then we'll go back over and do a second coat. Probably though, I probably laid this one on a little thicker than I should have, but I think by the time we're done, we'll probably have like 3-4 coats wrapped up in the thing. I'm thinking probably just about run through this entire can and call it good there. Okay, so it looks like we're gonna be ready for coat number 2 here. And I was looking at it, and believe it or not, for me being as horrible as I am with this actually might turn out okay. We're gonna give it a shot though here. Oh, it dried up. Yeah, you wanna do one of those. There we go. Gonna go for a little bit more coverage this time. A little more aggressive with it. Well, kids, here she is. Took about 4 coats to do it, but I think we finally have the block where we want it. I wasn't sure. I think I mentioned it before. If I didn't, I'm going to say it now. This was originally black. I said, make it orange. So basically, at this point, we have about 3 to 4 coats on it. This should be good for the block. I'm happy with that. Next thing that we're going to be doing is repainting the valve covers. I also kind of want to check out the valves and stuff, make sure they're good. But these are going to be getting painted gloss black. We're going to get our oil pan in on the way to replace that one. That's going to be the orange, of course, same orange. I'm probably going to have to buy another can. Not a big deal. But gloss black, and then the pulleys, and then the pulley assembly, which is over here. I need to pull the AC compressor off, and then the power steering pump. I'm going to clean up that whole bracket, paint that gloss black, paint the pulleys gloss black. Paint the well, that's technically the crankshaft pulley. Gonna paint that up, and then the fan one's over here somewhere, I think. Yeah, it's parts and stuff. Ooh, and we also got to paint the starter. We're gonna paint the starter gloss black as well, and just gonna have a nice orange and black look. Think it's gonna look pretty good. I hope so. Anyway, but yeah, so that's what you're gonna be seeing next in this video, and yeah. Let's get to it. Alrighty, so the paint's dried for about a few days now, so we're going to do the valve covers next. I just plopped them off. We're just checking out the rockers, see how they're actually doing. I'm going to grab a socket, and we're actually going to spin the thing over, but I've just pulled these off, and these are just beautiful. I mean, no sludge, no buildup, no gunk. I mean, what can you ask for a $500 motor? I mean, it's gorgeous. It's gorgeous in here. I mean, I am just happy to see that. Such good news. I'm going to be kind of makes me happy, because when we pull this off, I'm kind of curious what we're going to, be seeing in there. But honestly, I'm stoked. Honestly, I'm stoked after seeing this, because I got a feeling it's going to be really good in there, which means we're going to have a healthy motor. Because basically, by the time we're done here, when you really think about it, we're pretty much going to just about check this thing over and make sure that it's good. We're obviously looking at the top end of everything, making sure that's all good between these two, pulling these off, and then we have the new oil pan on its way. And honestly, once we pull that, we're going to be seeing what's going on in our bottom end, and I got a feeling we're going to have one hell of an awesome motor here, so I'm pumped. All right, so we grabbed all of our pulleys and pretty much valve covers and everything else that we were going to paint gloss black, and I did the right thing and snuck into my dad's garage when he wasn't looking to borrow his sandblasting cabinet. And actually, no, he did give me permission. But, when you come into another man's garage, it's kind of like stealing his woman for the night. You got to be real careful with what you touch and, how you use it, per se. So with that being said, we're going to go ahead and we're going to start throwing some stuff in the sandblasting cabinet, getting some stuff blasted up and ready for our gloss black paint. So we have your crankshaft pulley done up here. Now, honestly, I'm going to tell you right now, I'm too impatient to actually go in and get all of this. So the right way would be to, get in there and sandblast. But the thing with this cabinet is that it's kind of tough to see everything. And I'd be lying if I felt like spending the next 20 minutes to half hour of you know, getting every nook and cranny. So whatever I couldn't get, hit it again with the wire wheel just to kind of get it down the bare metal. But most of that's good. Here's what we got going on in here. This is the second one, actually. I'm trying to speed up the process here, but basically we're taking this guy here and just kind of blowing down into all the crevices here. It's hard to see through that glass. So that's why I've kind of been setting the phone down and really wish I could get a video for you guys of this getting blasted off in here. One of the big things we're going to need to do, though, is we're going to need to clean off the insides after we're done. Like rinse them out and shit, just because if not, you know, there's going to be sand particles and stuff inside our valve covers, and that's not good. Probably could have taped them up, but I just said, held it, and we're going for it because it was going to get down in these holes anyway. So with that being said, we're just going to keep going here. We're going to blast all this off. Like I said, the big idea here is to get all these rust spots off. Anywhere where there's not paint, all this rust here, we want to get that removed, especially down in these grooves here. There is a lot. So here's coat number 1 on all the parts that we cleaned up in the blast cabinet last night. I'm going to preference this right now. This is not the 110% way to do this. We quickly cleaned all of these parts up. I just wanted them to paint. I wanted them to have paint on them and for them to look reasonably good to throw them back on the engine. I want the engine to look somewhat presentable. Is this paint job going to last for 10 years? No. So yeah, a lot of things happened when you weren't looking. You must have been going up to the fridge for a snack, or probably fell asleep on the couch. It's okay, I do that too. But most of the parts that we painted are back on the engine, and you're probably going, what's that little thing or hanging off back there? That's the Turbo 400. Yeah, I've decided one way or another that Turbo 400 is going in that truck. Whatever I have to do to get an adapter plate, whatever. But at this point, we are going to go ahead, toss this engine in the back of the truck along with the tranny. We're going to take it to my dad's shop where he has a lot more knowledge and tools that are, you know, for my disposal, of course. Thanks, Dad, as always. And we're going to be putting all of our goodies on here. So that is going to be the end of this video. I hope you guys did really enjoy it. And, you know, like I said, this wasn't a professional paint job by any stretch of the imagination. There was a lot of corners cut via myself. And, yeah, we're going for it. Why? Because it looks great. I'm happy with it. But with that being said, we will see you in the next video when we are going to be putting some Gucci stuff up here. And I got some other news for you that I just found out about this engine that's going to save me money and time. And I'm excited. So we'll see you in the next one. Thanks for watching.